Welcome back to Vital Signs. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, go to shows, and click on Vital Signs and catch the first half of this show. Why? Because we had music in-house. We have Recovery Unplugged in studio with us, and they're sharing about how they're revolutionizing mental health, substance abuse, and everything in between. And we're going to dive right back in with Andrew and Joseph because they are increasing access to mental health and mental wellness, which is so critically necessary here in the United States and in our world. So Andrew, how is it that you are truly opening access and providing improved access in the mental health space?
You know, it's one of those things that we've always wanted to do, but we had to really understand how we were doing things first. And once we were able to work through the addiction side and work it very well, we added right after COVID our mental health program. And so we also transitioned from an out-of-network facility to an in-network facility. So we're now 100% in network with almost every major insurance carrier. We also have contracts with TRICARE for active military, the VA for veterans, and Medicaid.
Wow, so you're in network with everyone.
Yes, so anybody, anywhere can access care now, and that's really the key. In addition, we're opening our first inpatient mental health facility in South Florida in May of this year, and then we're going to be doing the same throughout the country. And what I'm most excited about, and I'm very excited about that, is our online program. Because now there's so many people out there that they need help, they don't know where to get help, and they may not have the resources in their local community, but we have an amazing, truly amazing online program using music as a catalyst for therapy for people that are battling depression, anxiety, PTSD, trauma that they could do from their own home.
Wow, and that's huge because so many people live in more rural areas. Maybe they're an hour and a half outside of a metropolitan area, and they really are very underserved. So I think that's really fascinating. And so what is different? And I'm going to ask because this is something that happens in telehealth. It's a question in telehealth and telemedicine and other. What's different between online versus in person? Do we lose any of that, or are we able to get that same level of care?
Well, I think one of the blessings that came out of COVID is we learned that you can absolutely develop deep and meaningful connections through a screen, right? And I think one of the benefits that we don't talk about enough with the virtual program is that there's still a lot of stigma in our country around substance abuse and mental health issues, to where not just because you live far away from a facility, but because maybe you're concerned about people knowing, seeing you coming away. It's a very real thing that people don't want their work finding out or whatever it may be. So making it that much easier to be able to access care from the privacy of your own home, I would argue that you might even feel a little bit more comfortable to let those walls drop and be vulnerable to start to develop these connections.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of shame associated with mental mental health and well-being, especially about substance abuse, particularly in those with high profile or celebrities, or there's a lot of people who are very visual, or think about physicians. That's a huge issue in some of our medical communities. So how are you able to really bring those people in who maybe don't want to talk about it and they have that much shame around it? You're accessing them in their own home, but how do you bridge that gap and get them to make that phone call?
Yeah. Well, we've created a whole suite of music videos and different educational videos that we have on our YouTube and our different social media channels that we really break down some of these down to basics topics about addiction. And one of the big focuses is on breaking stigma, right? Mm-hmm. Having a problem with alcohol or drugs doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't mean that you're morally weak or anything like that. And the same with depression and anxiety, is educating the population on the fact that very often those are as a result of chemical imbalances within the brain, and that it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't mean that you're less of a person, that you're less of a good person, that you're less of a man, that you're less of a woman, right? It's and normalizing that across the board.
In addition to that, we've now segmented out. We have people that have their higher power in their faith. So we have a faith-based online group right now for people that are battling. We have special programs for nurses and doctors as well. That we have a new first responders program now that we have the contract with the military, and we're working with different police departments that Joseph had set up here in Texas. And so making people understand and allowing them to understand that there are other people like them out there right? That breaks down the defenses off the bat, where sometimes you have people that are afraid of somebody, knowing who they are within the community. But when you have, other people of the same mindset in the same group, whether in person or virtually, especially virtually, it's easier.
Okay.
The other thing that's really huge is that we really focus on developing our alumni and continuing to support them afterwards, right? If you're at Recovery Unplugged for any level of care ever, you have access to our alumni services forever. And we love celebrating their victories, right? So as we're celebrating, alumni who are policemen, who are firefighters, who are practitioners, doctors, therapists, etc. They love Recovery Unplugged, so they tend to be very vocal about like, hey, I just got a year sober, and it's because of this place. So even the alumni help to facilitate that journey of destigmatizing and normalizing asking for help.
Yeah, and it's really great because when you have, you've created brand ambassadors for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
And they're the best people to break down those barriers and erase the stigma. So I know a little birdie told me in the background that there is something really new and revolutionary coming. You want to share a little bit about what's happening in that space?
Definitely. And as you know, dealing with technology, things don't always go to the timeline that you think it will. And so I was hoping for this to be in 2023, but it will be in 2024. And we partnered with a company called Good Thoughts. And so we are going to be beta testing their new revolutionary idea of using the Metaverse to reach people. And so people will be able to get both addiction and mental health therapy in the Metaverse through AR and VR. We're launching that in February as a beta test at Recovery Unplugged. And then once we're able to show how well it works, it will be, out to the masses. And so there's another opportunity where the way I look at everything is that nobody should be denied access to care. And then people that have access shouldn't deny themselves. Mm-hmm. And so you have a huge subset of people taking the military. I have family members that have been in the military for over 30 years, and so has my wife here in Texas. And so, unfortunately, several of their friends, I've spoken to them about this, over the last just couple of years, suicide is huge. And a lot of that has to do with the shame and the guilt in getting therapy. Mm-hmm. And so one of the ideas is that if you're able to go to therapy in the Metaverse as an avatar, you're going to be able to get that initial help before you're comfortable actually going yourself. Mm-hmm. The other part of that is that we've seen over the last decade, this large group of young men, 18 to 24, who may not want to show up at treatment, mm-hmm. who may not want to go to a Zoom, but could sit on a video game for 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And so same idea there is that if you bring the Metaverse concept and they could show up as an avatar of whatever they want or whatever gaming character they want, they're going to go to treatment for the first time where they wouldn't before. And so it's the idea of how to reach people where they're at, and that's what I'm very excited about.
And we talk about the gamification of healthcare being what needs to happen for our health in general, for health and peak human performance moving forward. And you're doing that. You're literally launching that. I'm really excited about that. We are running a little bit brief on time. So how can our audience, our viewers, our listeners reach out to you guys if maybe they have a loved one who needs help, or maybe they are struggling with something in the mental health or substance addiction space? How can they reach out to you?
Well, our website is recoveryunplugged.com, and people can go there, and we have 24-hour life-saving center, 7 days a week, holidays, we're always there. And then if somebody needs help immediately.
Yeah, we're also accessible we have all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's all the same, Recovery Unplugged. But if you're in one of our where we have physical locations, whether you're in Austin, Texas, or Northern Virginia, or Florida, or any of those parts of the country, come down. We love talking about what we do. We love showing off, our program, our properties. If you're hesitant, come down and meet some people in recovery and see that it's not that scary.
And I'll say lastly, we have a thing we started in Florida called Feel Good Friday, which is right now today, where we have a live in-person concert.
Wow.
For our clients, and we only allow a couple of guests. But a lot of times people that need help, or they have a family member that needs help, that may not want, if they're in town or close by in Austin as well, they could come check out a Feel Good Friday concert.
I love it. And so reach out, Recovery Unplugged. These guys are revolutionizing treatment and mental health and really increasing access. Anything else that you want to leave with our audiences before we break?
For me, again, this is not something I thought I'd be doing, but I'm so grateful that we've had the opportunity to start Recovery Unplugged. And as of December 31st, we helped our 14,000th person. And my own family was our first. And they're alive, they're well, they're thriving, they're helping others. And so I'm excited now to be able to take this to so many more people through our online program, through the Metaverse program, through our new locations. That for us, it's if you are struggling, no matter what, addiction, mental health, there's resources, and if we can't help you and you call us, we will find a place for you.
So fantastic. Any last words?
I guess just, my own personal experience shows that, no matter how far down you've gone or your loved one has gone, that there's always hope for recovery and for a better life.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your expertise here. We do have to break, but if you are listening and this has triggered something within you and you're like, wow, this might be something that I need to look into for myself or for somebody that I know, please reach out to Recovery Unplugged. We will be right back after these messages.